DIY Dave here, bringing another how-to episode. Today I'm going to be working on my 2015 MDX, changing the battery. And as you can see here, it's actually a little intimidating because you open the hood and you see a covered engine bay. And when you look at this, you don't even see a battery. You don't know where it could be. Most people think you can't even jump start it. You'd have to take all these things off. But in actuality, all you need is a 10mm socket and a flathead screwdriver to change the battery. To jump start it, take a peek here, and there's an actual access bay. You just have to look a little hard and you'll see it. Right there, you'll see that positive flap. That is your positive terminal, and if you open it up, you have access to your positive terminal there. You put the teeth in there on the cable kit or your starter kit or your jump start kit. You put that cable there, and then you ground it to something on the frame, something like that, something metal. That works for me. I don't know if it always works. I didn't try with this vehicle, but that generally works for me. On the difficulty scale, this is fairly easy. I mean, anybody can do this. If you have a 10mm socket and you have a flathead screwdriver, you can do it. Now let's jump right in and I'll show you how. So this is the first time I'm doing this. I've never done this before, so let's see. So here you gently pull up, and there's nothing attaching it other than these little clips, and these clips are removable, so be really careful when they come off. Two of mine fell off. I had to go digging for them, but they're there, and I guess that's a good thing because if they break, you don't have to get this whole new piece. You just have to get these little tabs that are just there. So that's a good design in my opinion. And so if you look here, you just have to make sure they're snug and they're aligned properly, and you put this to the side and you're ready to go. And as you can see, that's not bad at all. You just pull up a little bit gently, go side to side, make sure the tabs are there if any of them fall. You're gonna have to go digging for them, but for the most part they should be there. Make sure they're snug. Now you're gonna have to get this air intake out of the way. It's really easy. You just need a flathead screwdriver. You just pry it up a little bit and pop out these little caps. So these tabs are grooved where you can put the screwdriver right in there and you pop it right up. You just twist it in, pop it right up, and then you just sit there and take them out. Now sometimes they'll come out in two pieces where the top part will come out and you gotta get the bottom part. That's okay. You can just put them back later. They fit in really well. They fit in usually just one way, and so you just put it back in and it's all fine. But that's really the trick to that. It's just one little pop and that's it. Take them out and then you're good to go. So now you just pull the intake and just pull it out, and it comes out just like that. Really easy. Alright, so now just take the time to investigate and look at the battery, and you'll see this little black clip that's on this post for the anchor. I found you just pull it up, you just wiggle it, you pull it up, and it'll come right off. And that's it. You just put it to the side once that's done. Okay, so now you want to start unloosening the bracket that's holding down the battery. And this bracket's there so that it doesn't, it prevents the battery from moving around. And you'll see the bottom parts have like these little hooks that just hook into the support brackets that are circles right below it. And really all it is just a hook system, and you go in there, you jigger it around, you hook it in, and then you tension it down so that it's really tight. Really easy to do. So now you want to start to loosen the terminals. You start with the negative side, and so here I'm looking at where the bolt goes. The bolt's directly right on top, and you just loosen it. And here what you do is just loosen it to a point where it gets to an area where it drops down, and you'll see it, like you can see there, and you'll jig it around, it comes right off. Now you move to the positive side, and you'll see that it's slightly angled to the side, which is very helpful, and it actually decreases the chance that you can short anything out, which is why you take the negative side off first. And so it's really easy. You just go there, get through, jiggle it out. Now I found that this battery has a cover on top of the battery itself, and there's a tray below it, and I found it's just easier to just take the whole thing out itself, take out the tray, take out the cover, and pull that out entirely just like that. So I went to go clean the tray off, and then there's a little arrow that aligns to the front. You just go back and align it in. It has grooves, it snaps right back in, so it's pretty handy. And then you just go back and put the battery back in and assemble it just the same way. So here you want to make sure the positive red side is up towards the steering wheel and the negative side stuck towards the front. Then you go through and you know what, I'm just going to start cleaning everything because why not? I like to have a clean engine bay every now and then, so now's the perfect time. So now what I'm going to do is pull off the tabs, and I'm going to go through the process of installing the battery. So I'm going to go red side first, put a little petroleum jelly on, use your brand of petroleum jelly that you want, and then you apply it both to the positive and to the negative sides. And so you see here, you want to just smear it on, put it on top, It actually works pretty good. Just work it in there, work it in real good. Make sure you get it all around the bottoms, tops, everywhere. It helps protect the connections, helps prevent a lot of the acid buildup. Reattach it. I reattach it from positive side first and then negative side. Although with this design, it's fairly impossible to, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's not possible to really short anything out. So then there, you just tension it down just like that. So now you work to reassemble the bracket that's going to hold down the battery to the frame. And what I'm doing here is just going to clean it off like everything else. And the trick that I do is I line up the hole on one side and I really pull up on the bar, and then I hand tighten that you see here until there's enough tension to hold it itself. Then I move to the other side as well and do the same thing. The purpose there is so that I can get it down and I can go and lob it in and go from side to side. And so this is like a doorknob. You want to go from one side to the other. You don't want to over tighten one side and then over tighten the other side. You just want to do both at the same time equally. Make sure to give it a good pull like you just saw there. Make sure it's really locked down so it's not moving. Now take the time just to clean it up. You have it open, why not clean it? If you have some degreaser, go out and get some degreaser. If you can see my crossbar there or that support bar, it's pretty dirty, so I'm just going to go and hit it and clean it up with a paper towel and some degreaser. Alright, so now here's the moment. Here's the time to check to see if all the connections are done. So before I go and put everything back, I'm just going to go and restart the car and see how it performs. So let's hear it. And there you have it. Car is cranking just as you press the button, which is exactly what I was looking for. So now I'm looking at the controls, and it's telling me that I need to enter a code in for the radio. I actually don't know that I have a code for the radio, but it's also saying that I can press the power button for 2 seconds. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pressing the power button for 2 seconds. And what I see there is the radio then starts to activate. It then starts to say, looking for satellite. Now I'm checking my connections for my memory settings for the seat, and they seem to all be there. Everything seems to be there, which is quite surprising. I'm really happy about that. So I verified all my radio presets are there. Everything basically was left the way it was and before I disconnected the battery. So now it's time to reassemble. I'm going to take the intake and clean it up, just because why not? There's some buildup in there, and eventually over time that starts to smell. This just pops right in. You can see that it slides right in. And what you want to do there is just align it right back to that intake. And you want to make sure everything is seated properly. Go get the clips, put the clips back in, and you just pop them right back down. Really easy. Again, 2 clips, pop it right back in. Now just give it a slight tug, make sure it's on there. As you can see, it's on there, and that's what you want to see. I want to give you a look at the cover underneath, and you can see these little tabs. These tabs are removable and they pop right out, and as you can see here, I took one out and it fell right off. Not something I meant to do, but it's something that happened, so be really careful when you're working with these and really careful when you take them off. So now you want to align the cover for its final installation. So right here, we're wearing the hood latch, you got to move it up and then listen to how it snaps right in. And there you have that. Just wipe up your work, clean up. You know, I was really surprised that this is one thing that I could not find on YouTube, and I think it's because it's a battery change and it's not specifically about this car. But if you're anything like me, I'd love to know about exactly my car, my generation, and how to change it. So if you like what you see, I'm going to give you more. Subscribe, get notified, and you'll find out the newest stuff that comes along when it comes along. And I'd really love to see you again. So have a good one.